Welcome to our first carrier update. I'm Thomas Watson, of course, joined by Donny Gilbert, and a lot of stuff going on in the markets, but one thing to keep an eye on in spite of geopolitical events, we're actually seeing some downward movement on the prices of diesel.
Yeah, so it looks a little bit more than what it actually is, but if we go back here, the 21st of last month, from the 21st, that's where it peaked out at, and we've only dropped about 7.5 cents. So over the last really 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, we've only dropped, like I say, 7.5 cents. So it's slowly dropping. We saw a big drop in the rack price, but it's starting to bounce back up. Now, with war going on over in the Middle East, or starting up, that's also a good scare that could push these wholesale prices back up pretty rapidly. You got to remember, a lot of people think they look at diesel and the U.S. market. Diesel isn't a U.S. market. There's a national market that it really goes off of. So when there's some disruption in other areas, the price may go up in those areas, and that's going to push diesel up all across the U.S. So in a sense, the wholesale price could push back up. And if there's a scare, they may start pushing these wholesale prices back up. And that's why I believe that nobody's really going to start dropping their retail prices, because they think that spread may rapidly close here over the next week.
And looking at the outlook for drivers as well, how significant do we think prices at the pump will adjust if we do see any sudden movements? Will it take a week or two for these stations to figure it out, or is this something that if we do see movements, it'll be much more quick?
I think they're going to be slow right now, and they're not going to, again, they're not going to start, they're not going to drop their prices, even though we saw this big drop in the rack price.
Yeah.
Because it can, like I say, in a day, we can see a quick swing on the rack price as this comes down, and that gap drop, I believe right now the spread is $1.30, $1.33.
Yeah.
And that could drop back to a dollar very, very quickly with a simple, boost back up like we saw in the drop. And that can happen, like I say, overnight.
And if do you have another chart if our folks in the booth can get us the next chart? I left my clicker. I could pop out of frame here, but I was eyeballing it. We're actually
Go get your clicker.
Let me go get the clicker.
And I'll talk about the spread. Go ahead and get your clicker. So the spread here is about $1.35. And like I say, we saw it bounce back up here around the 4th to the 5th of October. And this is when the rack price fell down. The spread between wholesale and retail widened to over $1.40, but it's slowly coming back together as the wholesale prices pop or increase. Let's go to the next chart here. As diesel fuel prices come down a little bit, we were looking here at our NTI. It's at a 229, so we've seen it kind of bounced up a little bit here at the beginning of October, just a few cents. I would expect it to fall back down because we've had some of these lower peaks here below the average, and this will help. This is a 7-day rolling average, so it's going to help pull that average down. But we've seen a few peaks here, so we got some volatility kind of picking up here. And as we get into the latter part of October, we could see a little bit more volatility on the spot market, because when are these large stores going to start their sales for Christmas? We don't know the exact time or date, but we expect it to be earlier than last year. And so they might be starting around the first of the month. So they're going to start moving their products from their warehouses to their storefronts here real soon. We know today's Amazon Prime Day, one of the Amazon Prime days. So they're kind of kicking it off right now, and they're trying to get some revenue out of everybody's pockets. These other stores are going to push to be some of the first ones, because you and I, Thomas, we have a budget for Christmas. We may not know what the budget is yet, but those stores that start their Christmas sales early, we'll go there first, and we may spend all of our money there and not spend it anywhere else.
It's a race to the finish line for sure. Donny, thank you so much for this update. We'll be back, of course, with 3 more as we round out this show, but going to toss it back over to Kaylee and Anthony for our guest.